It's some few minutes past 2 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us here on The States. This program is only on WTV. We are also live on Facebook, WTV Ghana. This is where we discuss all the topical issues concerning you and then concerning the nation. But today is all about health. Thank you so much for joining us. This program is proudly brought to you by the Christian Service University located in Kumasi. And so if you want to do theology, if you want to do nursing, midwifery, whatever course it is, the admission for the next semester is ongoing. And so grab a form for yourself, fill it up. If you qualify, you'll be admitted into the school. Thank you so much. We'll take a quick turn, return. We'll give you the topic and our guest for today.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240-154825, or 0244-596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odenaho Kwadaso on the Kumasi-Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known.
Ago, Ghana for Mama don't you? May the dead Janava. Dead spices are running in every Jackson. And you never know yet.
If we come your job, we no use dead spices. We no go job. I don't
Taste the inside. Yeah, the natural spices, Papa na
no do sooner better. The way you go, dead spices.
Just the
one. No more dead spices. Aji baby,
Black, tasting like chicken.
Kaji, go. But dead spices here, what Jenny say, nanya good taste. If we say, yeah, the natural spices and yeah, you're gonna hey yo. Annie, you want all purpose, stew, noodles, curry and nutmeg, and a jollof. Dead spices, taste yummy, taste lemon. Dead spices, taste day inside. FDIG, a good day in Kratuya.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us here on The States. But it's time for us to bring you W Briefs. And today we are going to talk about health. And so we are just placing the spotlight on that. But on the 14th of July, that was last Sunday, the Ghana Health Service announced the outbreak of a clinical malaria, also known as dengue fever. Then again, there was a first case recorded or reported from the eastern region. After that, it has spread across other regions as well, and so the cases keep increasing. But our question here, what we are asking today is that what is dengue fever? What at all is it? Should we be concerned? Should we be afraid of what is about to happen? And if so, what are the measures put in place by the Ghana Health Service and all the health sectors that we know who are able to curb such issues in the country? And so today on The State, this is what we'll be discussing. My guest has joined me in the studio already, but after this quick turn, I'll introduce my guest as well as my topic. Do stay. Sorry, not sure.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
Get ready for a transformational morning experience.
𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 is here to build our spirituality, mental and physical well-being.
Through positive, inspiring actions and stories.
We bring you exciting activities and conversations that develop us as a people and as a nation.
We take a look at the trending issues in Ghana and the rest of the world.
And we also review the impacting stories from our local newspapers.
Every morning, we bring you stories of hope, change, and renewal.
We empower you through the Word of God and provoke you to live the purposeful life destined for you.
Join us, Anita Kwako
and the Reverend 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗘 Monday to Friday from 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. as we take you on an inspiring journey, live and exclusively on WTV.
You may also join us on Facebook at WTV Ghana and on YouTube at 𝗟𝗵𝗲𝗘 Ghana.
𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘.
Wake up to a purposeful day.
𝗟𝗓𝗩𝗘 is brought to you by
Danwell Insurance, Multi-Credit Savings and Loan,
and the Methodist University Ghana.
Many thanks for joining us on The State. My name is Miss Na. Today I've been joined by Kaba Prosper, who is a public health officer at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital here in Accra. And our topic is dengue fever, digging into the origin, the spread, the symptoms, the remedies, and the preventive measures we can take. All of us are involved in this, and so the earlier we get to learn about this, the better for all of us. But you at home, I would also want you to sit behind your television set and then enjoy this program while it educates you. I hope that you also enjoy it to the fullest. But good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good afternoon.
All right. But who is a public health officer?
So, with the public health officers, we are grouped into 4. We have the disease control and surveillance officers. We have the health information officers, we have the health promotion officers, and then we have the nutritionist officers. Okay. So it's just a group. Anything that we do that has to do with the public at large, we are the public health officers.
So it's not like you take care of patients like one-on-one?
No, we don't take care of patients one-on-one, but usually with my field, like the disease control and surveillance, we do what we call outbreak investigations. Any disease of public health importance, we do the sampling, try to make sure that the sample gets to the testing centers, either Noguchi or public health reference lab. So we work hand in hand with the doctors. So the doctors are the ones who query a case, and then we will now go in, get the sample to Noguchi to ascertain
bring
whether...
it down to my level. You are saying query the case.
So maybe a doctor will suspect a case.
Okay.
Like, say what you are talking about, the dengue fever, that he's treating the patient for malaria. After the anti-malaria treatment, the symptoms are not subsiding. Then the doctor will now inform us. We at the surveillance unit at the public health will now go in, get a blood sample, and then test the person for what you call viral hemorrhagic fevers, of which the dengue fever is part. So we run that test to tell whether it's either Lassa or it's either dengue. So out of that test, you now be able to ascertain whether the person is suffering from another condition or of which he or she is querying.
So you are saying that this is the first time you are going to do such probing?
Yeah, we pick samples on viral hemorrhagic fevers every day. So when you look at the communique that was sent by the Director General, it were cases that were being treated for malaria, but because the symptoms were not subsiding, they now did additional testing. So now when you read the communique, to tell you that all malaria cases should be clinically confirmed, that means that there should be a lab test done. So if the lab test is done and the person is positive for malaria, then you know you are treating malaria. But when the test is done and then it's negative for malaria, then you have to now go in and then run another further test, which is the blood sample we take to test for the dengue fever.
Interesting. That is actually a long process. But tell us, what is dengue fever?
So dengue fever, to simply put, is a viral disease that is just caused by a bite from an infected mosquito.
An infected mosquito?
Yes.
So mosquitoes now, the mosquitoes we have, they are not infected. Is that what you're saying?
Okay, so now let me put it in this perspective. Before a mosquito will be able to cause you a disease, the mosquito in itself needs to be infected with the disease. So
the malaria we get from them?
Yes, we infect mosquitoes with the malaria plasmodium. They pick our blood meal. Through us, they get infected and they transmit it to another human being. That's the life cycle. You need to have the malaria plasmodium in you. A mosquito visits your body for a blood meal. In picking the blood meal, it will pick some of the plasmodium parasites, and then it will now also convert it to give it to another mosquito. So humans infect mosquitoes, mosquitoes come back to infect another human.
How do we get the malaria?
So now, you know our environment. We live both in the cities, in the urban areas. So there are places that they usually go for hunting or farming. So they have these other associations with other animals, like in West Africa where we have the forest. So those who go into farming can get like places that there are monkeys or the apes. So they can also carry some of these viruses that the mosquito, malaria or dengue fever. And then the mosquito will now get infected from the rural areas, and then the transmission will now come to the urban. So the mosquito in itself must first be infected with the dengue virus before it will now transmit it to another person.
Okay, all right. But what's the origin of this dengue fever?
So dengue fever has been there, like what I'm saying, is just some of the diseases that a vector-borne disease that animals can transmit to human beings. But when you read literature, they will tell you that in West Africa, where we have the forest regions, there are other animals that can also harbor some of these viruses. So it can be that the mosquito will get it from the forest regions, and then now the transmission process will continue to way up as we are.
All right. Before we will go to what the Ghana Health Service, the communique says and all that. Globally, what is the issue of dengue fever?
So when
you keep mentioning West Africa,
when you go globally, it is WHO on their website today will say that is a disease that is spread. It is both in the tropics and then the subtropics. Even some of the American countries also report dengue fever. Any place that the Aedes mosquitoes can survive, there can be a transmission of dengue fever. So it is
what type of mosquito transmits the dengue fever?
The Aedes aegypti is the primary one.
Which one is a common mosquito we know?
Because of malaria, all we know is the Anopheles species. But the Aedes species too are the ones that transmit the dengue fever, whilst Anopheles are the ones that are responsible for the malaria. But the good thing here is that, should I say good? Yes, the good thing here is that the Aedes species are daytime. They operate in the day, whilst the Anopheline operates in the night.
So the name is Aedes aegypti.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that's the species that's
the type of mosquito.
Yes, the primary vector that causes the dengue fever.
Is it contagious?
When you use the word contagious, once it's an outbreak-borne disease, you will not use, when you use contagious, you are talking about maybe person-to-person spread. But here there must
virus
be
is not contagious.
No, it's not like.
So you can have it, I can have it, and we can sit here.
Yes,
and no
it's
one
not like
else will
COVID.
have it.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not like COVID that I can sit here and spread it to you. There must be a vector. The mosquito must be between us.
So the mosquito is the one who bridges that gap.
Okay. That bridges that gap. So even if I'm having it here and you are not having it, a mosquito needs to take my blood meal, also come and feed on you before, through the feeding on you, it will also secrete the virus in you, and then you also develop the symptoms.
Now when we take annually, what is the number of reported cases?
When you go to the statistics as we have in Ghana now, one of our topmost disease is malaria. Now, that's
in
one
Africa
of,
or in Ghana?
In Ghana.
Okay.
One of our topmost disease is malaria. And when you look at the febrile illness, dengue fever is also a febrile illness, meaning that it comes like a fever-like disease, same as malaria. So it could be that the statistics we are having now will not actually be the reflection of what is on the ground, because not everybody will go in for a test for us to get a true figure attached to this outbreak. However, now what we are doing is that we are now heightening, or we have we've increased surveillance, or we have been on an alert for the dengue fever.
Yeah.
So now any malaria case that is tested and is negative but meets the case criteria for dengue fever, then we will now sample the person and then go. So if you come with malaria, there are other probes that the doctor will ask. If you have headaches, if you have some rash, if you have pain at the back of your eye, if you have
at
any
the back of your eye,
yes.
Okay.
Pain
like
at the back,
the pain in your head,
yes,
but you realize that it's in your eye.
At the back of your eye. Okay. The doctor will now not query malaria, but will suspect dengue fever. So those are some of the cardinal symptoms that we are using to isolate the true malaria from the false malaria, because it comes that way. It all presents them. The diseases are like they mimic each other.
Okay.
So it will be
they
present the same symptoms. So it will be difficult for you to tell dengue from that. And naturally, if you have a strong immunity, you can recover from dengue fever yourself.
We'll come back and then you tell us how to keep our immune systems stronger. But the Ghana Health Service issued a warning. Should we be scared? Should this cause any panic in the public?
Anytime the health authorities issue a warning, it's not for you to be scared, but it's rather to create an awareness.
Okay.
Yes, what we are doing is that we are trying to empower the people or the population to be able to take care of themselves. So the communique came with some preventive measures that you yourself have to. So it's not to scare you, but it's rather to tell you that the system is strong enough to handle the disease which we are fighting, or the dengue fever that is with us. But once you have a country or you have a system that can test for a disease, it means that the system in its way can also manage the disease. Because if you can't test, it means that you can't manage the disease. So once you have a testing site that can be able to bring out a case, it means that we have that same capacities to be able to manage the disease.
In the last couple of days after the first outbreak or the case was recorded, has samples been taken to the 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 Medical Institute?
Yes, for my facility like this, samples have been taken.
Your facility,
yes, 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 Korle Bu Teaching Hospital.
Some people have recorded.
Sample has been taken for a case.
Malaria patients?
Not a malaria patient per se, but somebody who falls within the case definition for dengue fever.
Okay.
That means that there are some things that we look out for in a patient for us to pick a sample. Okay. So that is, I'm sure the other districts too are also sampling. So you sample and then it will go to the 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓 Memorial Lab. They will now do the testing and they give you back your feedback.
But how long is it going to take, the process?
It's a PCR. That's a pulmonary chain test that we do. So usually PCR should take approximately 48 to 72 hours to run the test.
Okay. I'm asking this because the person may go. I know you have details of all the patients that walk into the facility. So let's say the person goes to the hospital today, the person is tested, and then the person doesn't have malaria, as you said, but the other symptoms indicate that the person may have dengue fever. Now, this is an instance where the person probably may be on a trip going to another place and may just move off. So in this instance, how do you curb that situation? So
when you look at our OPD system or the health system, when you visit a consulting room or when you see a doctor, you mention symptoms. So we do what we call symptomatic treatments. So the doctor will give you medicine for the said symptoms which you have pronounced to him or her. So even though your test results are not readily available, the symptoms for which you brought to the hospital, you'll be given medication to treat those symptoms as we await the results. So even if the person is in transit or is traveling, the person will have medication for the said symptoms that he or she brought.
But the same communique indicates that the anti-malaria medicines we have or the drugs that we have are not able to curb the dengue fever. How true is that?
Yeah, it is true because, as we are saying, malaria and dengue fever are different.
Okay. So is there any other anti-dengue treatment that can be given to any other person?
No, so we don't really have a medicine for dengue fever. But
so how do you manage it?
So we manage the symptoms. Dengue fever comes with nauseating symptoms, headache, pain in the eye, maybe body pain, muscle pain, joint pain. So you'll be treated based on the symptoms you present. If you are vomiting, they'll try to stop the vomit, rehydrate you with fluids and all that. So based on the symptomatic treatments that we are doing, that is how we manage the case. There is no specific drug, like how malaria, we have the anti-malarials for no. Dengue doesn't have that.
But you still give anti-malaria medicine?
We don't give anti-malaria medicine for dengue fever.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying that now every malaria case must be clinically confirmed. So before we are giving you
so it
malaria,
could be Lassa, it could be dengue.
Yes. So if we are giving you a malaria medicine, means that your test results came out positive for the malaria test that you did.
Oh, all right. Now let's take a look at the symptoms that we are going to get. The moment you realize that you have dengue fever, you don't even know what it is, but what are some of the symptoms you're going to experience? So
primarily, like I said, the common symptoms you have with a febrile illness would be the high fever. That's maybe above 40.
I want you to pick it one after the other and explain what the high fever is.
So high fever, I'm saying that your body temperature, our normal body temperature should be between like at least the 36 degrees Celsius. If you are above
everyone,
you should be within that.
Both children,
yes. If you are above 40, that means that your temperature is high. It means that your system,
your age is above 40.
No, if your temperature is above 40 degrees, it means that you are trying to fight an infection within you, because the body uses fever as a mechanism to fight infection. So it is raising the temperature to make your system not comfortable for the pathogens to reside. So that's why we are using the high fever as one, or high temperature, if I should put it that way. So above temperature, body temperature above 40 degrees is very high for you.
Now what's the next one?
And then the headaches. You'll be having headaches that you can't explain. Usually, if you have headaches, if you should take rest and then enough water, and it is from stress, the headache will cease. But you can see that this one, you've taken enough water, you've had rest, but still the headache is persistent.
What is your definition of enough water?
Well, we have hydration, so usually depending on the work that you do.
Okay.
If you lose a lot of water, that means through sweat or your frequency of urination. At least if you are calculating a liter, so you can be taking maybe at least between 1 to 3 liters in a day.
So
this 500
this
ml.
500.
This 500.
So
you
you
can
take
take
like how many?
About 3 of this
a day
before you close work.
Before you close from work.
Then that means that you are rehydrating.
So you're saying from 8 a.m. to about 5 p.m. You should take 3 of this.
Yes, or more.
Okay.
As for water, is good for you are hydrating. So we don't have nothing like overdose in water.
Okay.
So the well hydrated you are, the better you are. And then apart from that, we have what you call the body aches, the general body pains. And sometimes you can feel the pains in such a way that you feel them at your joints. Others too might feel the pain within their bone.
So you are feeling it.
Yes, your joint, and then sometimes you can feel the pain is in your bone.
The pain is in your bone.
Yeah, you are feeling the pain within your bones, not just at the joint or at the general body surface. Those are some of the symptoms that appear.
So like someone holds you and you can feel the pain?
Yeah, you can feel the pain, yes, which shouldn't be. So those are some of the symptoms that you get. But within 1 or 2 weeks of these symptoms, people can naturally heal from the symptoms. Yes.
Without coming to the hospital?
Yes, without coming to. That's why we have self-immunity, self-bodies. And you can see that some of these diseases have been with us. Every disease has its mechanism. So with this disease, as I'm saying, because you don't have an exact specific drug, usually people even present the disease are symptomatic, like they're asymptomatic. They don't really have symptoms. And those who have symptoms are mild.
Okay.
Mild.
With the dengue fever?
Yeah, with the dengue fever. They are mild. So you yourself can walk to the hospital with, like how malaria, you can walk and they'll go and test you and they'll say that your paracetamol load is high, but you walked there as a normal person. That's how dengue fever is. You can just walk.
So but this one doesn't have the high or the low?
No, but in rare cases, you can have a severe form of dengue fever that can even be fatal, can lead to death. But that is
have you reported one in Ghana?
Not to my knowledge yet, but that is the rare form of the disease. However, majority of the cases are mild or asymptomatic when it comes to case presentation.
Okay. Now, how do we prevent this?
So with dengue fever, once the mode of transmission is through vector, our best option is a vector control. So vector control, which is the mosquito, is the vector. So as I said earlier on, the Aedes aegypti or the Aedes species they are active during the day. So by this time,
okay.
Daytime, and then they look like
they can't roam at night.
No. They are, how we call them, the tiger. They have black and white stripes, so we call them the tiger mosquito. So if you've seen
them, when
you kill or when you're able to hit one, and you can see that it is having some black and white stripes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So the normal mosquito we know is the black one.
The anopheline are they are inside. You see them active at night or in the evening.
Okay.
Dengue,
but the
ones that cause dengue, which is the Aedes species, are during the day.
Okay.
So in the daytime, you are supposed to wear protective clothing that are like long sleeves, trousers to protect yourself. Okay. And fortunately enough, the Ghana Health Service or the Ministry of Health has been distributing ITN nets, like the long-lasting insecticide nets. So you are supposed to be using them. Then there's window barrier system where we use a trap door or you fence the nets to prevent mosquitoes from entry. And then you must do what we call environmental manipulation. Places where you feel mosquitoes can breed, you eliminate the breeding site. Like when you have a bucket of water and you are storing water in that bucket of water, if that bucket doesn't have a lid, then it's better you empty. You make sure you cover it or you empty the bucket. So you don't give the mosquitoes the chances to breed.
Okay.
So you now limit their breeding size. So that's the best option we have now. Even though there are literature, there's a vaccine for dengue fever.
There's a vaccine?
Yes, there's a vaccine for dengue fever.
Come to that.
But the vector control is the best because it will not take anything for you to empty your bucket or do environmental manipulation or wear long dresses that will cover your arms and then your legs if you are roaming about. Yes. And now if you even should see how the weather is, the weather should suggest to you that it's better you protect because the weather is a bit cold. That's if you are in Accra currently. So you wear the long sleeves, the trousers and the like, and then you don't spend too much time outside. So that you always be inside to protect yourself.
But you said these ones don't work at night.
But
so we can still go out at night.
But we go out at night, that means that you have another disease we call the malaria.
So while you're fighting the dengue fever in the morning, you're fighting malaria at night.
At night.
Okay. All right. Now let's take a look at this. For instance, someone is going for a transplant. Just as you indicated, some people are
asymptomatic.
Yes, so you don't even see the symptoms at all. How do you get to know that this person has dengue fever? And then how do we get to know if the transmission, the organ transmission would not affect the next person to get dengue fever? Okay.
So when we talk about the mode of transmission of dengue fever, the primary mode of transmission is the vector to human. That's the mosquitoes to human. That's our primary mode of transmission. However, we have what we call the maternal transmission. Maternal. Okay. But it's in rare cases or it's in few cases that a mother can transfer it to a child. That is the maternal transmission.
Have you recorded one in Ghana?
No, please.
Okay.
And then we have the other transmission. That is what you are talking about, which few literature have said that yes, through transfusion, through organ or blood transfusion, the virus can be transferred to another person, but it's usually rare. But every blood that is transfused, per the protocols in the health sector, is that the blood is usually processed and then is checked for all these diseases. So before a blood transfusion or an organ transfusion is done, you know that the system has checked the compatibility of the organs or the blood, and then other clinical tests has been done to see whether the blood is free from any virus or pathogen before the transfusion is done.
All right. You mentioned earlier that there's a vaccine.
Yes, there's a vaccine, but not in Ghana, but there's a vaccine that has been developed, and then it's for children, usually the age between 9 to 16 years.
Why children? Why only children? Okay,
let me put it. Okay, so let me come. In every disease, we have the susceptible group, or the group that are most vulnerable.
Okay.
So when it comes to dengue fever, pregnant women, children, or babies are the most vulnerable. Myself and you who have crossed that threshold have some strength that because you have battled a lot of episodes of probably malaria and the like, our system will be able to adjust because dengue fever might give us those same symptoms. But when it comes to children and pregnant women, they're already vulnerable. So that can also cause that's why that can also cause them to have the disease or have the severe form. So the vaccine is developed for 9 to 16, around that age. No, 9 years to 16 years.
Okay.
However, it has some limitation. Unless the person has been tested positive for dengue before, before the person can take that vaccine. And that vaccine is even against 4 stereotypes, the type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4 dengue fever viruses. That's the stereotype that the vaccine protects.
Dengue fever has types?
Yes. Usually when it comes to these viral diseases, they change.
They change?
Yes, with time. So it's the same way when we were dealing with this COVID. You can see that we were talking about mutations. The virus has mutated. Yes, so some viruses
so you
have
use
their...
this approach and then you decide to use the other...
Yes, they have stereotypes. So far, the vaccine that has been developed for the dengue fever disease can only protect against that 4 stereotypes. But the person must also might have had a previous disease confirmation, or the person was a former case or had had the disease before. But that vaccine is not available in Ghana as we speak now. So our preventive method is what I just told you about. We protecting ourselves by wearing the protective cloth that will cover to our sleeves length and then our legs, and then the using of the long-lasting insecticide treated, the sleeping in it, or if you are in the room, and then your vents being covered with netting, and then maybe environmental manipulation whereby you eliminate the breathing sites of mosquitoes.
Okay. Now, are there any triggers? You mentioned earlier that you may have dengue fever, but no symptoms are showing.
Yes.
Are there triggers?
Most of the so as I said that most of the diseases or most of the cases are symptomatic. It will not necessarily be triggers, but depending on how the person feels. So you have what you call something that you feel within yourself. So if you feel within yourself that this is not actually how I feel, this is not how I used to be during the day, and then there is a change in this, then the best is to seek medical care. So when you seek medical care, through that, experts will now be able to diagnose you and know where you are actually falling short. If it is the dengue fever or whatever, the doctor will let you run a test. Whilst you are waiting for results, you are already on medication. So by the time the results would come, then you are also treating some of the symptoms. So if you read the communique, all the 9 people, they are all there because they were already on medications. They were being treated for symptoms that they were presenting with. But it is the test that confirmed that even though you were treating them with anti-malarials, but the disease that they were suffering from was dengue fever. So now maybe we'll be giving them hydrations, depending on what symptoms that is coming, they will be treating. And usually anti-malaria, we add it with painkillers. So the para will be taking care of the headaches and the other body pains that the person is having. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Now let's take a look at the treatment plan. The communique mentioned that there is no treatment.
Yes.
Can we use the traditional method, traditional medicine?
Okay, so we are the, I would say the health side or the clinical side. We don't usually advocate that if you are sick, you should just go the traditional way, because some of those drugs we cannot really tell which standards they were used to produce. Unlike how we can tell that a para has this particular strength, this medicine has this particular strength. So with those ones, we will not say. But what we will advise is that if you have any symptoms or if you are feeling any way, just visit the nearest facility that is beside you or that is in your locality for medical redress or medical care.
Tell us what you teach your patients when they come to the public health department. How do we boost our immune system? How do we prevent any of these diseases?
So the simple public health slogan we usually give when we are doing this community outreach or this health education is that we are what we eat.
Okay.
So what you eat will inversely affect your immunity status. If you want to be as strong, it means that you have to eat healthy or you have to eat well to be strong. So a good balanced diet with fruits and vegetables. When your immunity is high, before the diseases come, your antibodies will be also start to fight. the pathogens or the germs that are coming. So if you have strong immunity, that's what I'm saying, that because a lot of people have strong immunity, they are having the disease, but they are asymptomatic. So by the time they will notice they have the disease, they have even gotten out of the disease because they've self-healed. And if you can remember when we were kids, there were certain things that growing up, there were certain attitudes that were putting up that we felt, when you sit down, I felt that you should have fallen sick. Taking the food from the floor and just eating it and all that. But as at that time, you ask yourself, what were you eating? It's not that you didn't introduce a pathogen, but because of how strong, yes, that's the germs. But because of how strong your immunity system is, so we have different reactions. How you react to malaria is different from how I will react to malaria. But if you want to be strong, to be able to fight diseases of what nature is, you have to eat well and then exercise. So eating well, I just don't want to quantify the type of eating well. You but need to quantify it.
Tell us what exactly to eat.
A good balanced diet.
Like and what?
That means that you should have a little of all the nutrients that you are looking for.
Mention them. Mention all that you're talking about.
No, we know that we have the proteins and then we have the vitamins, we have the carbohydrates. And then we have the fruits and vegetables that give us some antioxidants and those other effects. So your meal must have all these things, or in your week or in your day, you must have a little exercise, you must have enough rest. Rest in itself is also a medicine. If you are stressed, it also affects your system. So a good body strives in a healthy mind or strives in a good body. So if you are not able to also give yourself enough rest to be able to distress yourself, it also affects your system, or that's your body as a whole.
All right, thank you so much. But viewers, we've been discussing dengue fever. We're digging into the origin, the spread, the symptoms, remedies, and preventive measures. And we had our guest, Kaba Prosper, who is a public health officer at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Thank you so much for staying with us. This program is probably brought to you by the Christian Service University. But we'll take a quick turn. We'll return shortly.
It's been 60 plus 3 years of autonomy, 60 plus 3 years of revival and renewal with formidable growth. It's been 63 years of celebrating the birth of Ghana Methodism. Under the auspices of the Heritage Directorate, we bring you the 63rd Autonomy Week celebration from Sunday, July 21st to Sunday, July 28, 2024. Series of activities have been outlined for the celebration in all societies across the connection. Sunday, the 21st of July 2024 is the launch and opening of exhibition. Monday, 22nd July is a memorial service. Tuesday, 23rd July is a talk on the history of Methodist Church Ghana. Wednesday, the 24th of July is an inter-class quiz competition. Thursday, 25th July, Organizational Music Festival. Friday, the 20th of July, Autonomy Prayer Meeting for the Methodist Church Ghana in all societies. Saturday, 27th July is Society Evangelism Program and tour trip to Diocesan Heritage Site. Sunday, the 28th day of July 2024 is the Autonomy Thanksgiving Service together with a flag raising ceremony at all the diocesan cathedrals. It's the 63rd Autonomy Week celebration. Let's join hands with the Heritage Directorate as we celebrate the commemoration of the day when the Methodist Church Ghana was granted a fully fledged conference status by the British Methodist Church in 1961. It's Autonomy Week celebration. Look out for the 60+3 Autonomy special chocolate to support our heritage site. This advert is powered by Communications and Publications Directorate.
nyansa ejiane penina no anaya jene penina no ti baby biara mpanifo ahia na yesaya adwene no ne open nyansa no oben wa ode agudie kira adwene mu agudie ene kofie enu esa adwene nzemu mu odo nzempolo nzemwa yetie bobra ekoyie frase efifrito ne open nyansa no omengwankwa enu ase ne mpani so ayadwene ne be yishira amano ene ni chirima yadamu ase
ja impanyin inso ayadwene jemre na hweyen memninde ne memninde bia anopa no wotwe wo Wesleyan television so.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again on the last part of our topic we are discussing here on the States. But Kaba Prosper is still seated, and we are going to look at other issues before we wrap up. But how long can you manage this dengue fever?
So with what I said earlier on, once it's a symptomatic treatment that we are doing, usually we check with the symptoms with which the person is presented with. Okay. So if it's the usual body pains and that, we can be given a painkiller that will last for at least 3 to 5 days, after which we believe the symptoms should resolve. So it's based on the symptoms or the severity of the symptoms that will tell how long the person will be managed. Or
so someone can go for 2 weeks, others can go for a week. Some days
but
and all that.
If all things being equal, an infected person with a normal with the strong immunity should recover between like latest by 14 days. The person should be out
14
of
days.
yes.
That is 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks. The person should be out. But those that have strong immunity, it will serve them like how malaria is. After the third, between the 3 to 7 days, you see that you start seeing signs of recovery and everything. Every symptom starts subsiding gradually. And that's how it is.
Is self-isolation important for dengue fever?
Well, like I said earlier on, it's not like the COVID-19 that we say is contagious, that we are restricting you. No.
So that's what your normal duties.
You can go, but when you are doing the self-isolation, it's just helping you to be able to prevent the spread, because once you are infected and the mosquito picks the meal from you, then the mosquito too can infect another person. So an infected person infects a mosquito, and then the mosquito gets infected and then also come and infect another person. So that's how the chain is.
All right, thank you so much. But as a public health officer, beyond dengue fever, I mean, dengue fever came a few days ago.
Yeah.
What are some of the public health concerns we should be concerned about?
So now that we are in the rainy season, another disease of public health concerns is the cholera. Usually it comes during the rainy season, and it has a high case fatality rate if it's not well managed. Okay. So as we are in the rainy seasons, we are telling all the people or the population to be washing their hands. The said method, the hand washing before eating, after visiting.
But what is cholera itself?
Vibrio cholera is a diarrheal disease that is caused by a bacteria named Vibrio cholerae. And then, if not managed, it will just cause you to be losing fluids, either through vomiting or through the diarrhea system. So you become so dehydrated that your body gives up.
Is it fatal?
Yes, it has a high fatality rate. Yes, our last massive outbreak was in the year 2014. Okay. So if you go back to that was about 10 years ago. And now what is curbing some of these fecal-oral diseases is because of what COVID, the lessons we've learned from COVID. Now everybody, the washing of hands and then the sanitizer use is what is curbing down some of these diseases. However, we shouldn't lose guard, because as of now, there's also another communique that we should also be on the lookout for the cholera.
Oh, from Ghana Health Service.
Yeah, from Ghana Health Service.
Oof. Okay. Is it because we are entering into the rainy season?
No, this is the period. This is the season.
This is the season.
Yeah,
for
this is
cholera.
the season.
Okay.
This is the season. But it's because now health has improved, water and sanitation has improved, so things are now dropping. So the better you get your health system or your water and sanitation levels, then that is how come some of these diseases are going down. But if you lose sight of it, it will come, and then when it hits you unaware, it comes with a high cases, and then the higher the cases, and the health system can't absorb. When the burden becomes too much, that is when others will resort to other treatments, and then we have case fatality and a rising harm.
All right. Now you mentioned water and sanitation.
Yeah.
Cholera has to do with what we eat and
Yes.
what we drink. How about our food? What should we do?
So that's what. So like we said with the water and sanitation, most of this fecal oral, when we say fecal oral, like fecal matter getting into contact with what you eat.
So you are saying feces?
Yes.
Okay.
Get into contact with what you eat. So now the contact can be one through the rainy waters, the flood, running over a farmland or a vegetable or something to contaminate it. Two, that sewage, or yes, when it floods, it can carry sewage, and then it will contaminate a drinking body or a water drinking body. So if you don't wash your vegetables well, you don't also practice good food hygiene, you can get your food or your water contaminated, and then through that you also get the infection. So literally cholera means eating someone's feces. That's just the literal definition. That means that you've taken in that. That's how so you have to check all those things.
But with the water, how can we prevent it? So
with water, if you can't afford this water, usually when you boil, that's one thing. When you boil water, you kill most of the germs. About 90% of them will die. So you can boil the water, after it cools off, then you drink. Are
you telling us that the 10% can do much to us?
No. But we, most of the disease, we have what you call counts or loads. Before you can have a clinical manifestation of a disease, you must get a particular count. Even with the dengue fever we are talking about, you must have a particular viral load for you to clinically manifest the symptoms. So not just a single bite is what is going to cause you. So
multiple bites?
Yes, it's the same thing with malaria. In malaria, you can get multiple bites for like 2 or even a month for you to get the parasitemia load, for you to get malaria positive. It's the same thing with the dengue fever. You must also accumulate the viral load that will lead you to develop the symptoms of the disease.
Oh, okay. All right. Now beyond cholera, what else are we to look out for?
So with the surveillance system, we are looking out for all diseases, be it cholera, dengue, Lassa, monkeypox, COVID-19. All diseases are still under our watch.
I'm interested in the COVID-19 because it's been 5 years.
Yes.
So why are we recording COVID-19?
So the disease surveillance is in such a way that even if the disease is not in existence, for you to know that your systems are working and your systems are rigid enough to handle an incoming outbreak or a next outbreak, your surveillance system must still be working. So with even there's a disease called smallpox, which has been eradicated, but still we go through record books to see whether somebody is showing signs of smallpox. And as we are speaking now,
but you don't record chickenpox?
No, chickenpox, we look out for them. So chickenpox, monkeypox. But as at now that I'm speaking, there are people who still once a while do test positive for COVID-19. The disease is not gone, but now because of how good vaccination is working, the hand hygiene, and then the distance, and then the COVID-19 protocol that we are putting in place are working. So we don't have the counts.
Are we still abiding by that?
Because yes, people still, you can see, I've seen a lot of Ghanaians still wearing nose masks
around.
Yes. And then now if you look now, if you are sitting in the public transport and somebody even coughs or sneezes, if you look at the environment or the gesture the person does, you can see that learning has taken effect. Yes, a lot of people are learning and they are buying about. So now we cannot get that height of COVID cases we got at the last time, because I'm sure that most of the public health interventions and the measures are still being acted upon, adhered to by Ghanaians.
Okay. Yeah. So you can boldly hit your chest and say that we are not at risk of a second pandemic?
I wouldn't say we are not at risk, because viruses, as I said earlier, won't come mutate unless what comes is a different strain of the COVID-19 that our systems are not used to. One thing about our body systems is that anytime you get an infection and then you recover, your body builds a memory with an antibody that keeps the particular trait of that disease in your system. That's why usually when we are growing up, they will tell you that you cannot get chickenpox twice. You cannot get measles twice.
But people still get it.
But people still get it because, yes, not everybody gets that. But ideally, if you naturally recover from chickenpox or measles, you have antibodies against that disease. And it will be difficult for you. It may come, but you might not react as somebody who has a virgin immune system. And once yours has been attacked before, you have what you call the memory cells of the antibodies of that disease. So you pick up from there. So as at now, majority of those that have been affected by COVID will also have some memories or some antibodies that are built in them that they'll be able to fight. So they will not get the severity, or they will not get that severe form of the previous infection they had. However, it might come like a mild form. Yeah, that's
okay. Are you still advocating for the vaccines, that we should still take the shots?
Yes, please. Yes, please. We are advocating.
Because we've taken 1, 2. We've taken the boosters and all that.
Yes, and as I said earlier, when it comes to vaccinations, there's nothing like overdose in vaccinations. What you deal with is antibody titer or antibody titer values. So there are levels that your antibodies are supposed to reach. So if you've taken the vaccine in 2021 and then you take some in 2023 or 2024, it goes to tell your body that what I received in 2021, another one has been introduced. So increase the titer.
So those of us who took it in 2021, we should go and take it again.
Yeah, the boosters, we advocate for
Are we
the
going to pay for it?
No, COVID-19 vaccines are free, and it is now routine. You can work in any facility and then just go that. We just ended our national immunization for COVID-19 last week, where all the...
So it means that when I get to your facility, I won't be able to get it?
Even at the Braka Polyclinic,
I can get it?
There's COVID-19 currently at the facility that you can get. The Johnson & Johnson brand that you can get.
But not AstraZeneca?
No. Currently, the vaccine that is in the system is the Janssen Belgium. That's the J&J. That's what we are currently having in the system. All right. Now, if I take that vaccine again, am I going to feel the same? Because we realize that people took the COVID-19, others were not able to raise their hand. Vaccine reactions are dependent on the recipient. Okay. So the recipient that receives the vaccine will determine what reactions. But how you react to the Janssen vaccine will not be how I react to the Janssen vaccine. And if I've been clinically positive to COVID-19, my system will react differently than you that you've not clinically reacted to the COVID-19 virus. So that is how the reactions work. So, but most of the reactions are mild and they are safe. Yes. So we all should go back and take the vaccine. Yeah, we should go and take the vaccine because it's protective. With the reduction of cases. How many times have you taken yours? I've taken up to 4 times. Because I work, yes, the work I do, I need to always have that level of protection here. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. We are so grateful. But if you've taken AstraZeneca, I mean, previously, the 2021 vaccine, yours was AstraZeneca. Yeah. Can you still go ahead and take Johnson & Johnson? Yes, please. Vaccine, the term we usually call vaccine cocktail is safe. When I say vaccine cocktail is safe, that means that you taking AstraZeneca, mixing it with Pfizer, Moderna, or Janssen vaccine has no effect. They are all going to work to build your immune system because all of them, and then they are manufacturing how they were genetically made. So they rather give you a stronger antibody system against the vaccine because AstraZeneca's technology is different from Pfizer. Pfizer is different from Johnson & Johnson. So some will deal with the RNA, some will deal with the DNA. So depending on how the vaccine were manufactured. But it is safe for you to take a Janssen now, even though you've received Pfizer or AstraZeneca. Interesting. Thank you so much. But if someone has just tuned in and is watching us right now, in a minute, I want you to tell the person watching us what dengue fever is all about. So, dengue fever is a viral disease that is just caused by the bite of an effective mosquito. The common symptoms a person who is having this will be headache, body aches, high fever, or nausea, or a rash. most of the people who have this disease usually are asymptomatic or show mild symptoms. So if you should go and then you treat for probably malaria and then the symptoms have not resolved, then you can also go back to the facility and then they will query and then they will test for dengue. That's why now we are saying that all malaria cases should be clinically confirmed. That means that a sample will be taken, the lab will run it. If it is positive for malaria, they are treating malaria. If it's not positive for malaria, then they will now treat the other ones. And then, as I said, the best mode of the best measure or to prevent this disease is the vector control, where we wear long sleeves dress to cover both our arms and then our feet, and then we also make sure that we improve our sanitation. We limit water storage. If you have a water storage bowl, it should be well covered to avoid malaria, to avoid the mosquito from having a site to breed. So those are some of the measures you can put in place. And then the 𝗟𝗑s 𝗟𝗑𝗓𝗓 or the 𝗟𝗑s species that causes the dengue fever are daytime operating mosquitoes. That means that they operate during the day. So meaning that now we must protect ourselves during the day and night. The day protection is against the dengue fever, and the night is against the malaria disease. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Prosper, for your time and for that education on dengue fever. But we've been speaking with Public Health Officer at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, the person of Kaba Prosper. Our topic we discussed earlier is dengue fever. We digged into the solution, the spread, the symptoms, the remedies, and the preventive measures. And I hope that you at home have been able to get all the tidbits on dengue fever and what exactly to do immediately you get any of these symptoms. Please report to the nearest health facility and get yourself screened, get yourself checked. If you're also at home and you don't feel this, you can also go and do your own routine checkup, and it is okay for your health as well. Thank you so much for taking time of your busy schedules and joining us this afternoon. My name is 𝗟𝗵𝗃. To our production crew, we say thank you. God bless you all. We'll come your way same time on Friday. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Stay safe.